What is up, guys? My name is BobaTalks and welcome to a brand new Star Wars video. Now, I was meant to make this video, well, the other day when this beautiful, amazing Star Wars information came out. And that is the information that Rian Johnson, Disney are coming out with three whole new Star Wars films, which is obviously a trilogy, and Rian Johnson will be directing it, the director of The Last Jedi. That is coming out this December, but they're also coming out with a TV series as well, and I just wanted to discuss a little bit about that, what I would like to see from it. So it's probably not going to be a very long video, but I am such a huge Star Wars fan. I always want to deliver more Star Wars content to this channel, and hopefully I'll be able to do that soon as well with this new work ethic I'm trying to get into and trying to pump videos out more and more. But anyway, let's talk about the new trilogy. There's not too much to talk about in terms of what they would reveal about it because they were very scarce with details. I believe on the TV series there's next to nothing about it. But let's talk about the trilogy first. They did say, however, that they want it to be outside the Skywalker sort of realm. Because at the minute, if you think about it, in the Star Wars universe, and every single Star Wars film since, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or if you want to say 4, 5, 6, and then George Lucas was like, well, I want to tell the story of the rise and, well, the fall and rise of Anakin Skywalker into Darth Vader. So that's what he did with 1, 2, and 3. It's all been about Skywalkers. Even the new trilogy, 7, 8, and 9, is still about the Skywalkers. You got Kylo Ren. We still don't know who Rey is, but it doesn't really matter in terms of what the whole plot line is for 1 to 9. It's all been about the Skywalker family and their huge influence in the universe that is Star Wars, or this current timeline in the galaxy of Star Wars. So this is what a lot of people have been theorizing, because the Skywalker name and legacy is so big in the current timeline and seems to span, years and years and years. If you're thinking about episode 1, The Phantom Menace, all the way through to episode 9, it's just their like influence into the future is still probably going to keep going, especially with Rey potentially carrying the torch of the new order. I'm not going to say Jedi because the Jedi might end and it just might be Force users from here on out. So a lot of people are thinking that it might go to the past. And if there is one thing that Star Wars have done absolutely amazingly but haven't taken advantage of fully, is the Old Republic era. Now, I don't know if any of you guys who are watching this, I'm assuming you're a Star Wars fan, so if you are just your average Star Wars fan, you may have heard of Knights of the Old Republic or just the Old Republic era in general. It is such an amazing time period of Star Wars, and it's technically right up there with the current series of Star Wars that we've been used to in recent years for me, because I remember playing Knights of the Old Republic, getting into Knights of the Old Republic, the era of that, when I was literally 8 or 9 years old, and I played through those role-playing games. Unfortunately, games do not get made like that anymore. They don't want to pay attention to all the great things that made those games what they were. Instead, these days it's all about microtransactions, barely any single player, and just all about multiplayer these days. But that's another rant. But Rian Johnson is writing and directing this new Star Wars trilogy that's going to be set so outside the galaxy that we're used to, so outside the Skywalker name that we're used to, that everyone, including myself, are really hoping that it's going to be the Old Republic era. Now, even though we have touched on storylines of that before, it's never been made concrete canon, and they did say with all new characters as well. So what you have to remember is, even if they do go into the Old Republic, which I pray they do, I don't think we're going to get anything like Revan or anything like that. As amazing as that would be, these have already been fleshed out stories, even though they're currently legends. I think the best we would get, and I would still hope for that if we do get the Old Republic, is maybe references to the Great Jedi War or Malachor 5 and Revan and Malak going off. Maybe just hints. Maybe it will be set a couple of 100 years after Revan, a couple of 100 years before Revan. It doesn't really matter, but the time period around there is just so brilliant. The Jedi and Sith and stuff back then was so raw. It was a lot more, I feel like it was a lot more interesting. It was really about the dark side back then and really about the light side. But then again, this new series could not have anything to do with Jedi or Sith. But I do find that very hard at the same time, because Star Wars without the Force being involved in it is a very different series, and if Disney did that, that would be quite a gamble. But I'm not saying that's crucial at the same time, because they were going to make a TV series. I believe Lucas announced in like 2005 that there was going to be this underworld kind of TV series which was set in between the Revenge of the Sith and Star Wars: A New Hope, and that never came to fruition at all. Nothing ever came of that TV series, but that TV series wouldn't have heavily relied at all on anything to do with Jedi or Sith. So if you you're a casual Star Wars fan and you're watching this video and you have no idea what the Old Republic is, I definitely recommend picking up maybe the audiobook or the book known as Revan. It is all legends, and this is all stuff that you can still get into, even though it's not canon. If they do end up going for the Old Republic, a lot of this I think will be starting to seep through the lines as canon, which would be amazing. If you want to play an old school kind of game, I definitely recommend Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords. Recently, they actually just brought Knights of the Old Republic onto Xbox One. It's not like remastered or anything like that, but the textures have been up-resed, so it's a lot more playable instead of playing it on the crappy Xbox version, which is, you know, years and years and years and years old. Now, as for the TV series, I'm just really hoping for something live action. Not that I don't love Star Wars Rebels or the Clone Wars or anything like that, but that's all we've really ever had, and it would be so cool to get some kind of raw underworld, you know, maybe on the lower levels of Coruscant or something gritty, just Star Wars mercenary kind of level TV show. I think that would be brilliant. Jedi and Sith don't have to be in that at all. I think we should save stuff like that for the big screen. But at the same time, on things like Star Wars Rebels, Jedi and Sith aren't always chucked into it, like in every episode. A lot of it, fair enough, Kanan or Ezra have a lightsaber, but, you know, it's all about the other things that are going on in the universe in between these storylines. So maybe in this live action, every now and again, we could encounter like a Dark Force user or something like that. That would be really cool. Or maybe like a Jedi who survived Order 66. But I don't know. They didn't release any information on what time period this TV series might be set in. And even though they didn't do that for the announcement of the trilogy movies, the fact that they said they want to move away from the Skywalker name and family, it means it has to be insanely into the future. But I feel like the Skywalker name and family is going to dominate the future forever to come, really. So they're gonna have to move to the past. And why would they ignore the Old Republic? At the minute, it's all up in the air and not canon. It's all legends, and they know that the fans have such like a soft spot in their hearts for the Old Republic that they could utilize that so much and start building, you know, this trilogy, Rian Johnson directing and writing it on the Old Republic era, and start canonizing things from that era that we know and love. Doesn't have to be Revan, as I said, because that's so huge and we already know that story through the video game, so I doubt they're just going to rehash that. But, you know, I'm just really excited. I'm going to be severely disappointed if it actually doesn't end up being the Old Republic, because why wouldn't you do that? It's a no-brainer, and I feel like with years and years and years of not getting a Knights of the Old Republic actual single-player game sequel again, or then not actually utilizing anything of the Old Republic era apart from the MMO, which, yes, I did play, but come on, let's face it, it wasn't that amazing. They didn't give it the attention it deserved, so maybe, like, God, movies? That would be insane. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, guys. This was more just a ramble video from a very excited fan and what he wanted. So let me know what you want as well. And if you're as much of a big Star Wars fan as do you want it to be in the Old Republic? Star Wars is such a big universe and galaxy, so it could be anywhere in any time period. Let me know if you've read any stories or comics that you want it to be kind of loosely based upon, or in whatever time period of your choice. But other than that, guys, give this video a like if you ended up enjoying it, and maybe even consider subscribing if you're brand new. You can always follow me on social media. The links will be popping up on the screen around here, or click on a link in the description below. But apart from that, guys, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and may the Force be with you.